When the storm couldn't break you, it learned to fear you. Remember that. Did they really believe the darkness would keep you asleep forever? That you'd never see the chains they wrapped around your mind? They thought they could bury you in doubt, drown your light. But instead, they lit a fire. Now it's their shadows that tremble. The game is over. The stage is crumbling beneath their feet, and they can't play in your face anymore. Before we dive deeper, do your part in this awakening. Like this video, subscribe, and help spread this message to more chosen ones like you. Every like, every share signals the universe, and yes, even YouTube, that this truth is rising, that the noise of deception can't drown out the voice of the chosen anymore. Together, we shake the ground beneath their lies. Chosen ones, you've always felt it. That pull inside, that knowing. Even when you tried to silence it, to fit into the box they built for you, the universe never stopped calling. You were never meant to blend in. You were never meant to bow your head and play small. But here's the truth they never wanted you to see. Your power has always terrified them. The moment you stepped into your light, their world began to crack. Not because you fought them with fists or fury, but because your very existence disrupts the illusion they built. You see, they were never fighting you. They were fighting the force that stands behind you, the universe itself, the energy that chose you, the current that flows through your veins like wildfire. And now, they've hit the dead end. The walls they built to keep you caged. They're closing in on them. You've been tested, pushed, made to doubt your own reflection. They whispered lies in your ear, told you that you were alone, that your light wasn't enough. But that was their last move, their last hope, to convince you that your strength was weakness, to make you forget that you are the storm they fear. And here's where I need to check you, chosen ones, because even you started to believe them, didn't you? You let the fog creep in, thinking the universe had abandoned you. But hear me now, the universe never leaves its chosen. It sharpens them in silence. Let me give it to you straight. There's something about being chosen that haunts your enemies at night. It's the weight of knowing they can't touch you, no matter how loud they scream or how hard they push. You are the glitch in their system, the flaw in their design, the mirror that reflects their weakness back at them. They can't rewrite the script when your name is etched into the core of the universe's plan. And that's why they can't play in your face anymore. Every time you rise, every time you shake off their chains, the universe leans in closer, clears the path, and reminds them who really holds the power here. Not them, not their lies, but you. Chosen ones, understand this. Your presence alone disrupts the flow of their false reality. You standing tall is rebellion. You speaking truth is revolution. Your light exposes their shadows, and that's why they scramble. They've reached the dead end. The show's over. Stay sharp. Stay lit. Keep walking like you own the ground beneath your feet, because you do. So, chosen ones, are you ready to feel this truth deep in your bones? Are you ready to walk through the wreckage of what they built and claim what's always been yours? Drop a 999 in the comments if you know they've hit their dead end and you're done letting them play in your face. This isn't just a video, it's your confirmation. Stay with me, because the deeper we go, the louder your light gets. If you're truly chosen, you won't be able to turn away. This message will pull you in. All right, let's get into it. Number 1. The House of Cards is collapsing. When the puppeteer's strings snap, the puppet dances no more. Remember that. Chosen ones, this was never about you simply waking up. It was about them losing their grip. They played the game for so long, thought they had it all figured out. They smiled in your face, sharpened their blades behind your back and laughed while pulling the strings of the system against you. But now, their hands are shaking, their smiles crooked, their control gone. The house of cards they built so high, thinking it could never fall, is collapsing all around them, and you are the gust of wind they never saw coming. They thought they were untouchable, didn't they? They thought the system would always protect them, that the lies would keep you blind. But they made one fatal mistake. They underestimated the power of being chosen. They forgot that when the universe marks someone as chosen, no amount of scheming, no amount of plotting, no fake smiles, no rigged systems can hold them down. The universe doesn't pick favorites for no reason. It picks warriors. It picks those who can carry the weight, who can withstand the storms and still rise. And when the universe moves, nothing stands in its way. You've seen it now. Their walls are cracking, their words are stumbling, their grip is slipping. The illusions they cast like spells over your eyes, they're breaking apart like glass under pressure. And I know, for a while, they had you questioning if you were really chosen, if the light inside you was enough, if you could stand against the machine they built. But let me ask you something. How can a machine stop the very current of the universe? It can't. It never could. And that's why they're falling apart. See, they weren't fighting you. They were fighting the force behind you, the universe itself. They tried to play the system against you, but the universe is the architect of systems. They were pawns on a board they thought they ruled. But now the board has flipped, and they're choking on their own strategy. This is what happens when the chosen rise. This is what happens when the universe aligns itself behind you. And you, chosen ones, you almost gave up, didn't you? They had you doubting, had you thinking you were alone. But the isolation you felt, that was just the universe pulling you back, sharpening you, making sure when you stepped forward again, you'd be unstoppable. So, I'm going to say this straight. Stop doubting your light. Every time you questioned yourself, they gained a little more time. They stalled your rise, but they couldn't stop it. Because the universe never makes mistakes. And neither did you. They see it now. The fear in their eyes isn't just fear of you. It's fear of what's coming behind you, the power that's rising, the wave they can't outrun. They know the end is here for their games. They know they can't play in your face anymore. The masks are off, the stage is burning, and the audience is waking up. Let me paint it for you. Imagine standing on a battlefield. They brought their armies, their weapons, their lies, thinking they'd bury you under it all. But instead, the ground beneath their feet is splitting open. Their weapons turn to dust in their hands. Why? Because when the universe chooses you, the battlefield itself bends in your favor. The storms calm at your command. The walls fall with your voice. That's the power you carry. That's what haunts them at night. So don't flinch. Don't step back. You are the force they can't contain. You are the crack in their foundation, and every move you make from this point on is a hammer to their crumbling house of cards. They can't stop it, can't rebuild it, can't hide it. You've evolved past their reach, and with that evolution comes a new set of rules. Rules they can't bend, can't twist. This is your moment, chosen ones. The tables have turned. The light you carry has scorched their illusions, and the universe is standing behind you, clearing every path. The house of cards is collapsing, and you are the storm bringing it down. Stay steady, stay unmovable, because this is far from over. Number 2, stepping into the fire, rising in power. The flame doesn't apologize for burning. It was born to consume. Let that settle in. Chosen ones, this is where the real shift happens. This is the part where you stop standing at the edge of your power, peeking in, wondering if it's safe to step fully into who you are. You've already seen the cracks forming in their system. You've seen the panic behind their eyes, the tremble in their voices as their illusions shatter. But here's the truth. They're still hoping you'll hesitate, that you'll second-guess yourself. They're praying you won't take that next step. Because once you do, it's game over. You've already lit the fire. You've already watched the walls crumble. But stepping deeper into your power, that's when you become unstoppable. That's when the universe doesn't just stand behind you. It moves through you. And let me make this clear. They fear that moment more than anything else. Because once you realize that no chains can hold you, that no walls can contain you, their entire playbook turns to ash. I know you feel it. That pull in your chest, that whisper that says, there's more to uncover, more to unlock, more power waiting for you to claim it. You've walked the hard road, taken the hits, stood alone while they laughed. But here you are, still standing. And that's no accident. That's what it means to be chosen. So here's the challenge. Are you ready to step into the fire fully? Not just dip your toe in, not just light the match and watch it from afar, but walk into the blaze and come out forged, unbreakable, untouchable. Because the moment you do, the game is done. You're not just holding the cards, you're writing the rules. But stepping into that fire means going deeper than you ever have, peeling back the layers of lies they wrapped around your mind. It's about unlocking the hidden truths they kept from you, the tools they never wanted you to wield. And if you're ready for that, if you know in your bones that it's time, then I'm inviting you to go even further with me. For the real ones, the ones who feel this fire in their chest and aren't afraid to walk through it, there's the obsidian inner order. This isn't for the faint of heart. This isn't for those still clinging to comfort. It's for the chosen ones ready to step deeper into power, to not just watch the system fall, but to build something unstoppable in its place. Inside, you won't find the surface-level noise they feed the masses. You won't find watered-down truths or easy answers. What you'll find is the blueprint to manifest the life they said you couldn't have. Tools and knowledge that flip the script and put the power squarely in your hands. Starting with a glimpse into the future, a preview chapter from our upcoming guide, Modern Manifestation Mechanics, a supernatural guide to prosperity in the technological age. This isn't your average think positive fluff. This is the science and spirit behind bending reality, making it work for you. Because let's be real, they've been playing with the system, twisting it to keep you down, while hoarding the secrets of how the universe really works. But the tides have turned. The curtain has been pulled back. And now you get to play with the system. You get to shape it, mold it, bend it to your will. This is about reclaiming the tools that were always yours, but kept hidden. By joining the inner order, you're not just gaining access to content, you're stepping into a circle of chosen ones who get it, who know the weight of being chosen, who know what it feels like to carry the fire and not back down. This is about community, about standing shoulder to shoulder with others who aren't afraid to rise. And together, we amplify the power. Together, we shake the foundations of what they thought was unbreakable. And listen, let's be clear, this isn't charity. This isn't about supporting Obsidian like it's some handout. This is an exchange of power. You step up, you invest in your rise, and in return, you get the keys they never wanted you to hold. You get early access to life-altering knowledge, to the tools that don't just light the path, but clear the obstacles in your way. The link to join is in the description. Simple as that. But here's what I need you to ask yourself. Are you ready to hold all the cards? Are you ready to stop playing by their rules and write your own? Because the game has changed, and the ones who realize that first, they're the ones who win. So here we are. The fire is lit, the door is open. You can stand at the edge, watch from a distance, or you can step into the blaze and rise as the force they never wanted you to become. The choice is yours. But know this, the universe has already chosen you. It's waiting for you to choose yourself. Let's take this journey together. Let's rewrite the rules, because they've hit the dead end. And now you are holding all the cards. The storm is yours. Number 3, the unmasking, fearless authenticity, unleashed. When the lion remembers it's a lion, the jungle remembers too. Never forget that. Chosen ones, feel this in your soul. Your confidence is no longer something fragile they can chip away at, no longer a flicker of light they can smother with doubt or fear. No, that ember they tried to stomp out, it's a wildfire now, a raging, untamable force, burning through every lie, every illusion they threw your way. And it wasn't sparked by them, it wasn't born from their approval. This fire was lit by the universe itself, forged in silence, sharpened in your darkest hours. You were sculpted by struggle, carved by pressure, and now you stand as something they can neither bend nor break. There was a time they loved to see you shrink. You remember it, when they tried to box you in, to make you question your own reflection, when they smiled in your face, but behind closed doors, they sharpened their claws. They thought if they pushed you into the shadows long enough, you'd forget your own light. They underestimated the chosen. They didn't know that pressure only makes diamonds, and silence only sharpens the voice that will one day roar. Now here you are, and that voice they tried to silence, it's no longer a whisper, it's a war cry. Your words aren't just sound, they're truth. Sharp, unshakable, undeniable truth that cuts through the fog they've spent so long creating. Every syllable you speak carries weight now. It echoes, it strikes, and they feel it. They feel the quake in the system every time you open your mouth. That's the power of fearless authenticity. That's what happens when the chosen step into their full voice. And let's be real, chosen ones, you didn't always stand this strong, did you? They had you second-guessing, questioning your power, holding your tongue just to keep the peace. But keeping the peace for who? Them? The manipulators? The deceivers? The ones who knew your power long before you did and worked day and night to keep you from it. Enough of that. Those days are over. The moment you chose to stop shrinking, to stop dimming your light to make others comfortable, the game changed. You've stepped into something now they can't ignore. They can't gaslight you out of your truth anymore, because the universe itself stands with you, amplifying your voice. Every time you speak, it's not just you. It's the power behind you, the alignment of the universe that flows through every word, every stance. They can feel that, and it terrifies them, because what's scarier to them than someone who no longer fears confrontation? Someone who knows their truth so deeply that no lie can penetrate it. That's you now. You've become the embodiment of fearless authenticity, and let me break that down for you. Fearless doesn't mean you don't feel fear. It means fear doesn't own you. It doesn't steer you. You walk through it. You speak anyway. You stand anyway. And authenticity? That's the weapon they can't fight. They can't manipulate someone who's standing in their full truth. They can't twist the mind of someone who's aligned with the universe itself. That's why they scramble. That's why they panic. Because no mask, no performance, no facade can hold up against raw, unfiltered truth. And chosen ones, if you're feeling that fire rising inside you, that's not coincidence. That's confirmation. That's the universe reminding you who you are, reminding you that your voice, your truth, your power, it's needed now. You're not here to play small. You're not here to fit into their shrinking boxes. You're here to burn them down, to tear the mask off the manipulators and shine so bright that the shadows have nowhere left to hide. But let me scold you for a second, because even now, some of you still doubt, still wonder if you're too much, if your truth is too loud. Stop that. Stop apologizing for the power that's been forged in you. They've played their games long enough, and now it's your voice that sets the rules. They fear the chosen because they can't buy your silence, can't twist your words, can't pull you back into the shadows. The universe chose you, and when the universe chooses, it aligns every force, every moment, every breath behind that choice. It clears paths, topples walls, silences the noise. They can't win against that. They were never fighting just you. They've been fighting the whole universe backing you. And you've stepped deeper into that power now. There's no turning back. Stand tall, chosen ones. Your authenticity is a sword, your voice a battle cry. Let it cut, let it echo, burn through the lies they built. You are the living proof that their system is failing, that their masks are slipping. And every time you stand in your truth, fearless and unshaken, you remind them that their reign is over. You are the lion that remembered, and the jungle, oh, the jungle knows. Number 4, the reckoning, facing the manipulators head-on. A serpent only hisses when it senses a threat. It knows when its time is up. Remember that, chosen ones. The shift is undeniable. It's not subtle, not something they can ignore or brush off. Those who once fed on your silence, who gained their strength from your hesitations, who hid behind sly smiles and shadowy schemes, they're feeling the shift now. They used to thrive when you bit your tongue, when you swallowed your truth, when you stood there questioning if you should speak. But those days, dead and gone. They still try, don't they? They dust off the old playbook, the sly remarks, the backhanded compliments, the veiled insults, thinking you'll fold like you used to. They think they can bait you back into your old patterns, into shrinking just enough to let them stay comfortable. But here's the kicker. They're playing the wrong game now. Because you aren't the same. You're not stepping back anymore. You've stepped forward, into the light, into the full weight of your power. And their tricks? Ancient, outdated, weak. So when they come at you with that same old energy, expecting the same old response, you confront them head-on. You don't flinch. You don't scramble for words. You meet their gaze with a stare so calm, so unshaken, it rattles them to their core. That's the power of a chosen one standing fully in their truth. That stare, it's not rage, it's not chaos, it's clarity. And clarity is what they fear most, because clarity sees right through the games, right through the masks, straight into the hollow shell of their intentions. And when you speak, oh, when you speak, chosen ones, it's like fire and ice all at once. Your words are sharp, clean, surgical, no wasted breath, no raised voices. You don't need volume to hit hard. You don't need theatrics to command the room, because when your truth comes from the universe itself, it carries weight. It lands like arrows finding their mark, straight, precise, undeniable. They try to laugh it off, to mask the shake in their voice, but they feel it. Your presence alone disrupts the energy in the room. Your calmness, your directness, it strips away the layers they've hidden behind. Because manipulative people, they rely on confusion, on chaos, on emotional fog to keep their grip. But when you stand in truth, that fog clears, and suddenly they're exposed, vulnerable, seen. Let me paint the picture for you. Imagine a predator circling, thinking it's in control. It knows the patterns. It knows where the prey usually runs. But today, the prey doesn't run. Today, the prey stands its ground, meets the predator's eyes, and suddenly the predator remembers. It's not the only one with teeth. That's the confrontation you bring now. You're no longer the hunted. You're the reckoning. And here's what you need to know. Chosen ones, this confrontation isn't about chaos. It's not about shouting matches or dramatic scenes. The real power, it's in the stillness. It's in the knowing. When you stand there, grounded in your truth, unbothered by their attempts to shake you, you become untouchable. You strip away their power without lifting a finger. And that silence, that unspoken knowing, it hits harder than any raised voice ever could. But let me check you for a second. Some of you still hesitate, still feel that old pull to avoid conflict, to keep the peace. I get it. They trained you to flinch, trained you to doubt your voice, but you've outgrown that cage. You're standing in a new arena now, and confrontation. That's not about starting fights. It's about refusing to let lies live unchecked. It's about standing tall when they expect you to fold. The universe didn't choose you to stay quiet. It didn't sharpen your words, forge your will, just for you to keep swallowing your truth. No, you were chosen to disrupt, to confront, to hold the mirror up to the manipulators and force them to see themselves clearly, maybe for the first time. And when they look into that reflection, they don't see you, they see the collapse of the system they built. And the best part? You don't even need to rage. You don't need to stoop to their level, because you've leveled up. Your power isn't reactionary, it's sovereign, self-contained. When you speak, it's because you've chosen to, not because they've provoked you. And that choice? That's the real power play. Chosen ones, this is your season of confrontation. Not out of anger, but out of necessity. Because manipulators thrive in silence, in unspoken agreements. But when you break that silence, when you speak truth with clarity, the ground beneath them shakes. Their old games can't survive in this new atmosphere. Their tactics fall flat. Their words lose weight. So, when they come at you with sly remarks or backhanded insults, let them reveal themselves. And when the moment's right, deliver the truth. Sharp, director, final. Watch how the room shifts. Watch how they stumble, trying to regain footing in a game that's no longer theirs. This is your power now. This is the confrontation they never wanted to face. But here it is. And you're the force behind it. Stay grounded. Stay clear. They can't play in your face anymore. Number 5. The power behind your kindness. The storm they never saw coming. Never mistake the silence of the mountain for weakness. The avalanche comes without warning. Keep that close, chosen ones. For so long, they walked with confidence around you. The manipulators, the deceivers, the ones who fed off your patience. They believed they had you mapped out, believed they knew your breaking points, your limits. They saw your kindness, your calm, your quiet moments and thought, easy target. They wore that smug smile, certain that their sly games would always keep you beneath them, always dancing to the tune they played. But that confidence, it's crumbling now. Every smug look, every dismissive gesture, every underhanded word, they're choking on them. Because the person they thought they had control over, the one they believed they could sway, manipulate, and bend, that person outgrew their games, outpaced their tactics. You've become the force they never accounted for, the storm that wasn't in their forecast. And they can't dodge the truth anymore. Not when you stand there, calm, composed, and radiating a power they can't understand. Your confidence now, it isn't just a shield, it's a weapon, a finely honed blade, cutting through every lie they ever spun, every false narrative they tried to sell. They can't hide behind their illusions anymore, not when your presence alone strips those masks away. You've become the embodiment of truth itself, silent when necessary, sharp when required, and undeniable at all times. And here's the part they never saw coming. The very thing they mocked, the thing they mistook for softness, for weakness, your kindness, your patience, your willingness to give them the benefit of the doubt. They thought that was your flaw. They believed it made you malleable, easy to sway, easy to manipulate. But they were wrong. So wrong. See, chosen ones, your kindness was never weakness. It was never about fear. It wasn't about avoiding conflict or staying small. No, your kindness was your strategy, your patience, a weapon they didn't know you were sharpening. They couldn't understand that your silence wasn't surrender. It was calculation. You were waiting, watching, reading the room, letting them show their hand fully. You were gathering strength, learning the patterns, knowing exactly when to strike. And now, that moment has come. The moment where the silence breaks. The moment where your words, measured, deliberate, unstoppable, cut through the noise and leave nothing but the raw truth exposed. That's the power behind your kindness. They thought they were playing a one-sided game, but they didn't realize you were choosing when to engage. You held your peace because you knew the weight of your words when the time was right would be impossible to ignore. And now they face that truth. They're standing in the light of your rise, watching the illusion unravel. Their confidence shattered, their control gone, and the storm they never prepared for is right in front of them. You, standing tall, standing clear, wielding truth with precision. Let's not sugarcoat this. They underestimated you. They saw your calm and assumed you were powerless. They thought your kindness was born from a need for approval, from a fear of standing alone. But that couldn't be further from the truth. You were never afraid of confrontation. You were waiting for the right confrontation. And now, the universe itself has aligned to bring that moment to the surface. The timing is perfect. The stage is set. Their eyes, they can't meet yours anymore. Because every time they try, they see what they missed all along. The power beneath your calm, the storm behind your smile. They see the kindness they mistook for weakness transform into a force that breaks through their defenses, leaving no room for lies, no space for games. They see the truth they've been running from, standing in front of them, and it has your face. Chosen ones, this is the power they fear most. Not rage, not chaos, but unwavering truth, delivered with the calm precision of someone who no longer needs to prove a thing. You've become the avalanche they didn't see coming, the silent force that moves mountains without warning. And here's what they can't escape now. Your rise is steady. It's undeniable. It's irreversible. You've stepped into your power fully, and they can't play the old games anymore. They can try. They can scramble. But the room doesn't respond to them the way it used to. The energy has shifted. The tables have turned. You are the storm they never prepared for, and your kindness. That's the part that terrifies them most, because they know now it was never weakness. It was power in its most refined form. So stand firm. Speak when the moment calls. Let the power behind your kindness be the force that brings down the walls they built. You don't have to raise your voice. You don't have to rage. Your presence alone, aligned with truth, is enough to shake the foundations of their world. The storm has arrived, and you are the storm. Number 6. The spiritual war they never trained for. They came with chains, but you grew wings. Let that settle in your spirit, chosen ones. This isn't just a battle of words. This isn't about petty arguments or surface-level confrontations. No, this right here, this is warfare, spiritual warfare. And the battleground isn't out there in the world. It's closer. It's in the home, in the family, in the spaces where they thought they knew you best, where they believed they could always pull the right string, press the right wound, and have you fold like you always did. See, the manipulators aren't always strangers. Sometimes they share your bloodline. They know your history. They know where the scars are. And they've been using that knowledge as weapons for years, playing on your forgiving nature, manipulating you with guilt, twisting the knife with shame, knowing that you'd always cave, always bend, always carry the weight they refused to hold themselves. But those days are over. They try the old tactics, don't they? They come at you with familiar patterns, guilt trips wrapped in soft words, passive-aggressive jabs disguised as concern, expecting that you'll play your role, that you'll slip back into the box they built for you. But what they're met with now, it's something they can't explain. It's not rage. It's not rebellion. It's not the emotional outburst they expected. It's calm. It's steady. Its unshakable certainty. When they look in your eyes, they don't see the same person they thought they had mapped out. They don't see the easy target, the one they could guilt into submission. No, they're staring into something else entirely now. They're staring into a force that doesn't flinch, doesn't waver, a fortress they can't breach. And when you speak, chosen ones, when you speak, it lands like thunder in a clear sky. Calm, firm, but it hits them like an unseen blow. Their words, the ones that always worked before, fall apart in their hands. You dismantle their manipulations, calmly, piece by piece, until there's nothing left but the raw truth sitting between you. They are left stunned, as if they've been struck by something they can't even name. That's the spiritual battle they weren't ready for. They trained to control the old you, the one who doubted, the one who hesitated, but they didn't prepare for this version of you, the chosen one who has remembered their power, who has stepped fully into alignment with the universe, who has learned to command the battlefield instead of being tossed around by it. You've become something they can't control, something they can't manipulate, and that terrifies them, because for so long they thought your forgiveness was weakness. They thought your desire for peace came from fear. They believed they could always breach your walls, always find a way back in. But the truth is unraveling now. The truth is slapping them in the face. Your forgiveness wasn't weakness, it was strength in reserve. Your silence wasn't surrender, it was strategy. And now that you've drawn the line, now that you've built your fortress and stood firm in it, they're left reeling, spinning, trying to figure out how you've transformed into someone they no longer hold power over. And here's the brutal truth they're facing now. The tables have turned. The vulnerability they exploited, that's become your greatest strength. Because in vulnerability, you found clarity. In forgiveness, you found power. And in setting those boundaries they never respected, you've become untouchable. You are the architect of your own fortress now. A fortress built not out of walls of anger, but of unwavering self-respect. Solid, impenetrable, and they can't scale those walls. They can't twist your words or rewrite your truth. The foundation is too strong. Chosen ones, understand this. This isn't just a battle of words. This is spiritual warfare. They're not just fighting to win an argument. They're fighting to keep their place in a world where they controlled you. And every time you stand firm, every time you hold that line, they feel the ground shift beneath them. They know the old power dynamic is dead, and they have no idea how to operate in this new reality where you hold the power. And here's where it hits the hardest. They never expected you to rise like this. They never imagined that the person they once toyed with would become the storm, the fortress, the unmovable force standing before them now. They thought the spiritual battle was theirs to win, but they didn't account for the universe standing behind you. The energy has shifted, chosen ones. You're no longer the one holding back tears, biting your tongue, playing the peacekeeper while they wreak havoc. You've become the warrior, standing with the calm of knowing you hold the higher ground. And that calm, that's what breaks them. That's what silences the manipulators. This is the spiritual battle they never trained for. But you were born for it, sharpened by the struggle, fortified by the pain, and now you stand as the storm they can't weather. Stay firm, stay grounded. The fortress you've built, it's unbreakable. The spiritual battle is yours to win. Number 7. Walking in unshakable authority. When the ground quakes beneath your feet, it's not fear. It's the earth recognizing your power. Feel that, chosen ones. This is no longer about playing small. No more second-guessing, no more guilt-tripping yourself for standing firm. The days of feeling bad for protecting your peace are gone, done, over. You've stepped into a new level of authority now, a force they can't twist, can't bend, and sure as hell can't break. The manipulators, the deceivers, they didn't realize that your kindness was just the surface. They mistook your gentleness for weakness, thinking they could dance in your face forever. But now they're choking on that mistake. Because what's standing in front of them isn't just kindness, it's fortified power. It's the steel backbone that says, I'm not here to be played with. And let's make it clear, you're not just confronting people anymore. This isn't just about family members, co-workers, or whoever thought they had the right to toy with your peace. No, this is deeper. This is spiritual warfare. You're challenging the very spirits behind those manipulations. The deceit, the control, the guilt. They aren't just personality traits. They're weapons wielded by forces that fear your rise. And now, you've called their bluff. You're walking in unshakable authority, and that authority comes from knowing you're aligned with something greater. The universe stands with you, pushing back every dark force that thought it could control you. You're no longer fighting flesh and blood. You're dismantling the systems behind them. The shadows they thought could hold you, scattered. The chains they wrapped around your mind, snapped. They can't play in your face anymore. The power you now walk in, it exposes them. It burns through their masks, leaving only the raw truth behind. And that truth is this: you're no longer the victim in their game. You're the force they fear most. So stand tall, stand firm, walk in that authority. The spiritual battle is real, but so is the power that backs you, and they can't outrun it. Number 8. Shifting the atmosphere, commanding the room with truth. When the truth walks in, the room holds its breath. Remember that, chosen ones. There's a moment that comes when the old games just don't work anymore. A moment when the manipulators, the sly opportunists, the ones who've thrived in the fog of half-truths and whispered lies, meet something they never prepared for. You, standing in your full power, shifting the entire atmosphere without breaking a sweat. In the workplace, that battlefield of false smiles and hidden daggers, you've played witness to these games long enough. The colleague who slides in, sharp with the subtle undermining, quick to take credit for what they didn't build. They've done it before. They've gotten away with it. They counted on your silence, on your hesitation, on that small internal war you used to fight, wondering if it was worth it to speak up. But now, that war is over. There's no hesitation, no debate, no giving away your power for the sake of keeping the so-called peace. You've seen behind the curtain, and you know that the peace they've sold you is just a polished version of control. The peace they want isn't real. It's silence. It's your submission. And those days, they're dead. So when that colleague steps into the same tired role, trying to steal credit, expecting the same old outcome, they get something else entirely. You speak up, calm, steady, unshaken, and when you do, the whole room feels it. The energy shifts. Not because you've stirred conflict, but because you've introduced clarity. Piercing, undeniable clarity that slices through the fog they've thrived in. It's like flipping the light on in a room full of shadows. Suddenly, everyone sees what was always there, but never called out. Your words. They don't need to be loud. They don't need to be angry. They hang in the air, sharp and irrefutable. The truth just stands there, undeniable, and the room can't look away. No one can pretend they didn't hear it. No one can stuff it back down. And the colleague who once thrived on your silence, they're left exposed, stripped of the power they once wielded like a weapon. This is the power of shifting the atmosphere, chosen ones. This is what happens when you walk into a space fully aligned with the truth. The air changes, the energy realigns, and the ones who built their positions on deception, they feel the ground shake beneath them. They know the game has changed. You've become the force they never accounted for. The living reminder that truth doesn't need permission to enter the room. You don't need approval. You don't need to soften your stance to make others comfortable. Your presence, your clarity, your refusal to play small, that's what commands the space. And let's be real, chosen ones, they count on your silence. They need your hesitation, because without it, they have nothing. Their power has always been a mirage, a trick of the light, relying on your self-doubt to keep their illusions alive. But when you bring the truth forward, when you refuse to let the lie sit unchallenged, that mirage burns away, and all that's left is the bare bones of their game. So, shift the atmosphere, own the room, speak the truth when it needs to be spoken. You don't have to shout, you don't have to convince. The energy speaks for itself, and when it does, the manipulators can feel their grip slipping. Chosen ones, this is your season to command every space you enter, to walk with such alignment, such clarity, that the atmosphere bends around you, not because you demand it, but because truth always demands space, and you are the vessel that carries it. The days of biting your tongue, of letting the lies slide to keep the peace, are gone. The peace they built was false, and you've outgrown it. Now you bring the real peace, the peace that comes from standing in truth, unshaken. Let the room shift. Let the atmosphere change. You aren't here to blend in. You're here to transform the space. And they can't play in your face anymore. Number 9. The end of their games. No shadows left to hide. The game ends when the players realize the board was never theirs to control. And chosen ones, you've realized, this is the power you now walk in, not just to stand your ground, but to shift the entire atmosphere, to change the energy of any room you enter. The manipulators, the deceivers, the ones who thrived in your silence, they can't play their games anymore, not in your presence, because your truth is too bright. Your light leaves no shadows for them to crawl back into. The world around you is reeling. They're struggling to process who you've become. Those who thought they knew you, who counted on your hesitation, who believed they could pull the same strings forever. They're standing face to face with a force they never expected. You've shattered the illusions they crafted so carefully, torn down the walls they built to box you in. And in doing so, you've revealed just how deep your power runs. You've stepped fully into your truth, no longer willing to play along, no longer willing to wear the mask of peace while chaos works behind the scenes. You see through the facades now. The lies, transparent. The games, exposed. And your voice, once held back, now cuts through the noise with undeniable clarity. The game is over. You hold the power now. And so, chosen ones, we've reached the edge of this battlefield. The dust is clearing, and the truth stands tall. You've seen their games crumble, felt the power of your rise, and now you know they can't play in your face anymore. This is your time. Walk in it. Own it. If this message lit that fire inside you, make sure to like, subscribe, and drop number 77 in the comments to claim your power. Share this with another chosen one who needs to hear it. Together, we shift the atmosphere. Together, we end the game. Stay strong. Stay unshakable.